Avalanche Software just dropped a huge 46-minute gameplay walkthrough with a massive amount of information that we need to go over. So by the end of this video, you'll be up to date on what this showcase was all about and what to expect from Hogwarts Legacy when it releases on February the 10th. And let's first start with character creation, as the team showed us a full walkthrough on customization options, with a huge shout out to James from Expecto Go on YouTube taking us through his choices here, as he was invited by the studio to experience this firsthand for us and did a great job. Now the preset tab allows you to pick a standard character that you like the look of initially and then build upon. So after you've chosen your standard base model, kind of like a blank canvas per se, we can then move forward in defining what we want to look like at a detailed level. And that's what this is all about, as the game director Alan 2 stated that the goal here is to make us, the players, feel like we're bringing ourselves to Hogwarts for the first time, which is quite exciting. And it certainly seems that way, as the next customization page focuses on the type of face shape we wish to have, with 15 options to choose from, as well as 20 skin colours available to pick. Additionally, there's 3 options for glasses right out the gate, but Alan did state that we'll be collecting different design glasses throughout the game as loot, so don't worry about just having the 3 options here, you will get more variety in game. We then move on to hair colour with 35 options and 42 hairstyle choices, with Alan also confirming there's a wizarding barbershop in Hogsmeade, so don't worry if you can't settle on one straight from the get-go. And it doesn't stop there though, because we've got the option of adding a choice of 20 freckles and moles and having a unique scar just like Harry, depending upon your own personal preference, with 25 eye colour variations and 15 eyebrow shapes. And you could actually spend hours with all of these choices to hand before you even play the game, and that's certainly what I plan to do. Now this final tab, it was speculated to be our house choice tab back in the Autodesk developer presentation in August, but it's not that. It's actually a section that allows us to customize our voice from high to low in regard to tone and pitch, as well as picking the game difficulty depending upon how you want to play the game, and of course entering your name and which dormitory you plan to stay in, that being a witch or wizard. And after you're happy with your choices, we can jump into the game, and let's do that now and go over the wizarding field guide first, because it will be playing a very important role in the game itself. Now Alan 2 stated that because we're entering Hogwarts as a late 5th year, they needed to give us, the players, something to help catch up with the other students, which is this book that's on loan from the Ministry of Magic that has been verified by the professors. Now from a gameplay standpoint, it's essentially our pause menu that is presented as a book that will also have the crest of your own house you represent in the middle of it. This book of course being tailored to James, as he's in Hufflepuff House. So every time you press the pause in game, this is the screen that you're going to be shown. So think of it as a hub of operations for anything that you want to look at specifically during your playthrough, as you have your current level above the house crest in the middle, with the map, quests, outposts and settings to the right, and gear, infantry, talents and collections to your left. Now each time you open up a specific menu, the book itself will open up to that specific page per se and show you more information that is distinct to that menu choice, which brings us quite nicely onto challenges, which is the larger icon here at the bottom of your screen, as they will be playing a bigger role in this game, perhaps more so than the other options on the pause screen we've just looked at, because the book itself has magical properties that allows us to discover and interact with the castle and beyond. And if we go ahead and open up the challenge menu here, as you can see, there's a selection of specific challenges that we'll be able to complete, from combat, quests, exploration, field guide pages and the room of requirement. And let's take a look at the field guide pages as an example of this challenge mechanic here, because when James approaches a floating mystery, which turns out to be a field guide page that's hiding outside the Hufflepuff common room, we can use our Revelio spell that is permanently binded to your left button on your controller, and more on that later. But once this page is actually collected, it will provide us with an in-game tip and knowledge about something specific, and in this case that something specific is how to enter the Hufflepuff common room, as well as provide us with XP for going to the trouble of discovering it. Now if we jump back into our field guide book and then click on the challenges menu again, we can now see that the field guide page tab has increased by 1%, with Alan 2 saying that there's over 100 pages to collect just in Hogwarts alone. So the more challenges we complete with these specific categories, the more XP and rewards will become available to us, so it's very much worth doing in my opinion. And if you're enjoying the video so far, please do leave a very swift like down below. It really does help me out on YouTube, so thank you very much. And while you're down there, I'm also running a Hogwarts Legacy game giveaway. You just need to be a subscriber of the channel to enter, and the link is in the pinned comments, so good luck. Now, I'll tell you what else is worth doing, and that's getting to grips with this whole UI and in-game HUD system, because there's a lot of bells and whistles on your screen, but what does it actually all mean? Well, let's start from right to left and focus in on the spell diamond and all 4 of these wonderfully coloured icons here, which are spells that are slottable spells, with Alan 2 confirming that there are over 20 specific spells that can be placed in here for us to cast. Now, the difference between these spells, comparatively to, say, Revelio we just discussed, is that the Revelio charm is a permanent feature on our controller D-pad and has a lot of environmental functionality that is key to gameplay, with Alan calling these essential spells that can be clearly identified via the eyeball icon. So if we zoom in here, if you were to press the left D-pad button on your controller, you'd see the full selection of these essential spells, which we won't be able to switch out. Now, you'll also notice a grid icon if you press the right button on the D-pad here as well, and this opens up another menu that then allows us to slot a variety of different spells into different slots. And even though this feature wasn't shown due to spoilers, we were informed that there will be 16 slots in total, which we can access quickly by pressing that R2 button in the middle of the menu here. And let me try and demonstrate that for you further if my editing is up to it, because this is how I envisage it looking on the screen with those 4 spell diamonds, allowing us to slot those 16 spells into each diamond. And interesting to note, by the way, we'll have to unlock those 4 spell diamonds as we progress through the game, as we only start with 1. So essentially 4 slottable spells to begin with. Now, that said, let's say we have all diamonds unlocked. We'd then be able to hold that R2 button and press the right button on the D-pad on console to quickly switch between each of these 4 spell sections in combat, accessing new abilities and spells very swiftly. Now, the green bar here is our health, with the potions next to it being consumables that we can trigger when we're low on health and we need to heal, with the bar above it being kept a secret in this reveal. But I've got a feeling that it's our ancient magic bars that can trigger special magic, which we've seen cast already in the State of Play trailer. So I'd say kind of think of these bars as adrenaline bars in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, if you've played that game, which fill up when you're in combat, and once they are filled, you can then trigger special abilities, and in this case that would be triggering ancient magic finishes which one-shot enemies. Now, on the left hand side we have the L1 button visible. This is our tool wheel, which is being kept another secret for now as well, but Alan did clarify by saying it's where we'll gain access to magical tools and consumables we'll be brewing. So think of this as a quick bind to where we may consume potions that will give us boosts in combat, again just like we saw in the State of Play trailer, as you can see here. We also have the minimap visible in the bottom left hand corner, which gives us an overview of where we are in the game. This can actually be turned off in the settings though if you do want to explore blind, which I think is a nice feature to implement into the game. And speaking of map exploration, a big feature of this preview was touring the Hogwarts Castle, and I want to bring your attention to a few cool features we were shown in this big boy 45-minute preview. The first thing is the Flu Flame network, which is the fast travel mechanic that will allow us to transport ourselves to different locations around the map quickly if we've already discovered that particular location on foot. Now, there doesn't seem to be any interaction needed for them to be added to the network though, because as we see multiple times throughout the trailer, just running past them will prompt a notification to pop up, which is very welcome indeed. Secondly, we have confirmation that the house point system in Hogwarts will not be a core mechanic in the game, meaning you wouldn't necessarily pick up 5 points to Gryffindor for completing a side quest with a specific professor, is my kind of understanding. That said, Alan 2, the game director, did say that it is definitely present throughout the game, so we will see it in action, but it won't be something available to view in the menu, or we won't be able to grind out house points in-game in some sort of side quest capacity. Alan also confirmed that the wizarding games of Gobstones and Wizard's Chess won't be playable in the game either, as they did want to prioritize other mechanics in the game during development, which is a bit of a shame, but as the wizarding world is so vast, I can understand that. So you'll be able to see them dotted around the castle, but just not be able to play the mini games themselves, and I really do hope that is kind of changed or updated in a future update. Big fingers crossed on that front. Now, thirdly, Hogwarts has been designed as a huge hub with certain areas similar to that of the Grand Central Station or King's Cross to help players avoid being lost. An example of this being the main hall, which has a section with large green stained glass that has a tree stenciled upon it. That clearly identifies that it is the direction you need to go for the greenery, so expect lots of subtle hints like like this throughout the castle itself to get your bearings and kind of keep you grounded. Now, fourthly, the owlry has been confirmed to be part of the castle, which we can visit, which is great. And we can also see an owl perched on its stand in James's Hufflepuff dorm. So I'm assuming pets will be an option in this game, or perhaps this is confirmation of the owl post mechanic, which has been noted in that pause menu. So let's just wait and see on the pet front. I really do hope they're in the game. Now, another feature we saw in this gameplay showcase was the dialogue interactions and the purpose of side quests. Now, as confirmed by the team, we will be able to talk to different students and teachers around Hogwarts who will give us optional side quests to complete, resulting in leveling XP, rewards, and new spells to learn. Chandler Wood, the community manager, said that these optional quests are designed to teach us some of the secrets of Hogwarts and flesh out some interesting opportunities that are hidden around the castle, which we would perhaps not have necessarily come across without doing these quests. In fact, there is some significant importance of engaging with these quests, because Alan said that the dialogue options will offer us a different variety of choices in regard to how we wish to respond, with those answers having a bit of a kind of butterfly effect where those responses can genuinely affect the story of the game as well as the actual ending of the game, which is pretty massive, to be honest with you. That kind of surprised me. So it seems that these dialogue options aren't just there for fan service or for us to kind of feel more engaged with the game, but our answers actually have a real impact, which is really encouraging and really great to hear. But that said, I did feel that some of the facial animations and voices were a little bit off for me, enough for me to kind of recognize during this preview that it felt weird to look at. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. Listen to this.
You should try to catch one.
Why would I do that?
So yeah, it kind of felt a little bit off to me. I do hope improvements are made before launch, but I'm not necessarily sure that's realistic, as this game is actually quite close to launch, to be honest, only 3 months or so away. But I'm kind of keen to hear your thoughts on this one. Is this perhaps me looking into it a little bit more than I should? Let me know down below. But let's move on and talk about attending classes, because Alan did confirm to James that they will be in the game, of course, but they aren't implemented in a simulation kind of way. And he went on to explain that even though there will be a day and night cycle in the game, we won't be required to attend classes at certain times of that day, but rather these classes will be more entwined with the main storyline, with Alan stating that the best way to think of this is the narrative is broken up into chapters, and within each chapter there will be missions and side quests for us to complete before we progress onto the next chapter. And then once we do, those quests would no longer be available, and this is where classes fit in, because there will be mandatory classes that we'll need to attend, but they only fit in within the main storyline narrative. But there's also optional side quest classes which will then appear on our map within certain storyline chapters that we can then choose to complete. So essentially, we don't need to attend classes if we don't want to, unless they are within the main story. Now, the caveat is that if we do decide to attend these optional classes, we will have a better relationship with our professors and learn some new spells, which will have a rippling impact later on in the game. So I think it's worth doing, in my honest opinion. But classes aside, what about this secret crossed wands dueling club? Or as Chandler puts it, the not so secret dueling club, which the professors definitely are aware of. It's based in the clock tower and run by a very fresh-faced Gryffindor called Lucan Brattleby, who walks us through a combat tutorial and teaches us how to thread spells together correctly to maximize combos. And more on combat in just a moment, because this dueling club isn't just a tutorial, because it's kind of like an available mini game where we'll be able to challenge other students to practice our new spells, as well as choose our companion as our second to help fight with us in combat, which you can see here from this dialogue option here in the showcase. Now, of course, we can choose to go full aura and take on 3 opponents at once, and if successful in our duels, we'll be rewarded with XP and new challenges to unlock in and around the castle, as you can also see here. Now, it isn't mentioned by the dev team in the presentation, but Lucan does mention this at the end of James's successful duel. Listen to this.
You'd better keep practicing if you want a chance at winning. Or at least surviving the next round. I'll let you know when we're ready.
So it seems to me that there will be a lot more dueling rounds we can complete, with each becoming more difficult than the last for specific rewards. And I wouldn't be surprised if we got something very cool for being the best duelist in Hogwarts. But let's take a look at combat before we head down that rabbit hole here, because it is a quite creative system in terms of combos. And how it works is that each enemy has an active colour shield charm. And the idea behind this system is to encourage us to break those shields by using certain spells that counter their defences defenses and allow us to deal damage by pressing that R2 button, which is stated as our go-to damage dealer or kind of auto attack or auto hit per se. So let's take an example from the gameplay here. One of the students has a purple Protego shield charm active, and we break that by activating our purple Accio spell as shown here in our spell diamond. So to help us, the players, understand which spell we need to use to remove those defenses of our enemy, we'll need to use the spell color indicator that matches up with the enemy's shield color. Now the caveat again being here that each of these spells has a cooldown, so you'll have to rotate and switch enemy targets by using the right analog stick on console if the NPC has reactivated their shield charm whilst your spell to break it is on cooldown. Now as for counter-attacking, we can pick up a Spidey Sense prompt in game when we're about to receive a spell to the face, which is indicated by this ancient magic circular animation over our head. We'll need to hit triangle on our controller to parry this attack, or alternatively we'll be able to send back a counter curse if we preempt the attack long enough by holding down the triangle button. So we're rewarded with a little bit of a reprieve if we react in good time. Now Chandler also says that when spells are deflected, they bounce off walls and damage the environment, which I think is a great detail, and I honestly can't wait to see more of that. Additionally, Alan 2 did say that this combat system is designed to feel like we're fencing at distance, and that we'll be able to level up certain spells we have a particular fondness for or affinity for in the talent section, making them more impactful to use depending upon how we want to play in game. An example being that the Stupefy stunning spell becomes more powerful and more effective after the upgrade. Now this is all great, but will there be any more future gameplay or content before the game releases on February the 10th? Well, the answer is yes, because Chandler has confirmed that the Hogwarts Legacy team will be showcasing more walkthroughs and gameplay trailers, which will take us beyond the castle grounds and out into this massive world they've created, which they did tease at the end of the presentation by showing us some great footage of us flying over the Scottish Highlands as well as fighting enemies outside the castle grounds. Now I'd expect this probably before Christmas or perhaps in January, so within the next 60 days as they continue to build hype for release, and I do hope we get more of a showcase on more gameplay features and perhaps a full walkthrough on a certain quest or a side quest so we can really understand how this all comes together. But with all this combat gameplay chat, we haven't spoken too much about specific spells, but don't worry, I've got you covered. I break down all of the confirmed ones in the game and what they all do in this video, which should be on your screen right now. So give that a click if you want to know what you can actually cast in this game, and I'll see you there in just a second. But if you're still watching though, my big thanks to those of you who are in the Reloads Club and support me on YouTube via a membership, and Nika for helping me make this video. Butterbeer is on her, and I'll see you in that next video in just a second.